Going on, guys? John Matrix here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We're going to be jumping back into the SCP universe here. One of the videos has been requested by one of my YouTube members. We're going to check out a video by Dr. Maxwell's SCP Readings, SCP 2000, Deus Ex Machina, SCP Foundation made SCP. This is a follow-up to the beneficial SCPs video that I looked at that talked about the SCP, I don't know if you want to call it like a manufacturing plant, but I guess it's like a cloning facility, or a facility. I guess it's more of like an ark. It's really what it is. It's kind of like an SCP version of Noah's Ark, where, you know, if there is a literal world-ending event, it kind of is able to reset humanity. It has you know, genome stocked for every human on the planet, along somehow with their memory and personalities, and they can be implanted, and then everything is reset to, I guess, within a certain amount of time in human timeline. But it seems like the mystery behind it is like who created it and how long has it been there. So it could be a situation, because like the technology sounds like way more advanced than where we're currently at. So it could be a situation where humanity's been through any number of world-ending events, and we've just lost knowledge and time, you know, from that. So I'm interested to kind of check this out and see what more we learn about this here. So anyway, so yeah, we're gonna check this out. Again, links will be down below in the description here to the original video here with my commentary and reaction, and to Dr. Maxwell's channel. So if you would like to check those things out, please do so. And if you enjoy the video, give it a like. Check out Dr. Maxwell's content on his channel, and if he's got a lot of content you're interested in, you know, give the man a sub, give him some support. But for now, get into this here video. Volume is good. Boop, boop.
Warning: HMCL and O5 approval required. The file you are attempting to access is available to personnel with level 4-2000 clearance only. This clearance is not included in general level 4 security protocol. Attempting access beyond this point without necessary clearance is grounds for termination of Foundation employment and cancellation of all educational, medical, retirement, and mortality benefits. By submitting your credentials, you hereby consent to exposure to a known cognitohazardous image, and verify that you have been inoculated against that image. In the event of unauthorized access, this console will become inoperable. Security personnel will be dispatched to revive you and escort you to a detention cell for interrogation. Attempting to access this file from any computer not connected to the Foundation intranet will result in immediate termination, regardless of clearance. Submit login credentials. Level 4-2000 clearance required. Security cognitohazard activated. Scanning for neural activity. Consciousness confirmed. Retrieving file.
You people don't get it.
What do you mean, you people?
I don't think you ever will.
Item number: SCP 2000. Object class: Thaumiel. Special containment procedures. The entrance to SCP-2000 is disguised as a disused park ranger station in Yellowstone National Park. Despite several civilian trespassing attempts, the entrance has yet to be breached in the installation's recorded history, and no further physical containment has been deemed necessary. Protocol Plain Sight 201 is in effect for SCP-2000. Necessary supplies and replacement personnel may be delivered via unmarked road vehicles or civilian helicopter as appropriate. No personnel below level 4-2000 clearance are permitted access to documentation regarding SCP-2000 or any protocols associated with its containment and upkeep. No personnel below level 5-2000 clearance are permitted access to SCP-2000 below sub-level 3. All personnel assigned to SCP-2000 must submit to a neural archetype scan on a monthly basis. Personnel stationed on site must submit to weekly scans to be stored locally. Level 4-2000 personnel or above stationed on site are not permitted to leave Yellowstone National Park during the course of their assignment. In the event of transfer, either elective or compulsory, Class A amnestics must be administered and false memories implanted consistent with assignment to other high-security or Keter-class SCP objects. Additional personnel may be assigned to SCP-2000 and granted temporary Level 4-2000 clearance at the discretion of the item's HMCL supervisor, currently Dr. Charles Gears, and O5 Command. The exterior surface of SCP-2000 is surrounded by Scranton reality anchors, or SRAs, every 20 meters, arranged hexagonally to prevent incursion by hostile anomalous interference. Each SRA's function must be checked semi-annually and replaced as necessary. Technicians servicing SRA components may reference document SRA-033, revision 1.0.7. 5 exacs capable of maintaining stable tachyon flux across the expanse of the facility, maximum output rating at 100 watts each, have been installed and are to be maintained monthly. Technicians servicing exacs components may refer to document exac.
Bro, how much money are the techs getting paid to maintain this shit? That's what I want to know. I want to know what kind of training you went through to learn how to take care of this shit and how much money you're making, brother. Because this shit sounds complicated AF. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the machine guy from the Red Reality was working on, the Scranton Reality Anchor. Right. Right. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, how much are these guys getting paid to take care of the shit? They're certainly not doing this like for volunteer work, you know what I'm saying?
864, revision 1.3.0.
Because, like, on the one hand, I would think certain jobs in the SCP probably would be really good. They probably would pay really well. They would, you know, I'm sure would set you up with all kinds of like false information and stuff like that, you know, for a job to pass off to, you know, whoever you know for some civilians and stuff like that. I guess it would probably depend on what station you would work at, you know, because and like what's contained at the place you're at. Because, like, you know, it would be pretty dope working with, you know, the people who are studying, like, the coffee machine and figuring out what it can do and things like that. But then, you know, working around 682, that would be a little, you know, nerve-wracking, you know, wondering if it's ever going to break out and what it's going to do and all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, Foundation poaches a lot of its employees from military or private sector, so they must get great. I would bet. But yeah, I wonder, like, you know, what kind of salaries do a lot of these people in the SCP have, especially being that they're like privately funded kind of a situation, you know? And I also wonder how, like, a lot of the different, I mean, like he said right here, there's a lot of amnestics that can be given to various people or whatever, depending on the security of what's going on at the various sites that they have. But you got to wonder, like, you know, how many people from different organizations pass through these different organizations. Like, how many people from, like, the SCP might end up at some point in time, you know, either quitting or getting fired or something like that, and then going to work to the GOC, or, you know, vice versa, going from the GOC to the SCP, or then working for any number of these other organizations, you know, like Marshall, Carter, and Dark. You know, I'm sure there's some people from the SCP or GOC that have gone under their employ at some point in time because of information they've known or worked with or skills they might have, or who knows, you know? So I just wonder, like, I bet at, like, on a certain level, there's probably is, like, some kind of, you know, almost like mercenary, you know, black market kind of thing that happens between a lot of these organizations where I guess potentially people might pass through them for various times for different jobs and things like that. So I don't know. And then, of course, all the various people that work for the different task force, etc.
Pseudo-Riemannian manifold has technicians servicing exacs components may refer to document exacs 864, revision 1.3.0. One pseudo-Riemannian manifold has been initiated at the entrance to sub-level 4 and must remain open at all times. In the event of the manifold's failure, procedure Dead Euclid 101 is to be executed immediately. Other non-anomalous life support and utility systems may be maintained in accordance with Standard Foundation Maintenance Protocol, Section 101.5, Mission Critical Components. Wherever possible, non-anomalous materials and resources are to be used for SCP-2000's maintenance and repair. In the event of any K-Class scenario which does not compromise the existence or function of SCP-2000, Procedure CYA-009 is to be enacted as soon as possible. Remaining Foundation installations globally are to monitor the scenario as it unfolds, preserving what material resources are possible under the Ganymede Protocol until such time as all remaining sites respond all clear to SCP-2000 queries as defined in Document 2000 XKAC-1.9. Upon receipt of all clear code, Procedure Lazarus-01 is to be implemented. Administrator Note:
I want this on permanent record, and I don't rightly care if you think it's an insult to your intelligence. Some things are just this important. This device is absolutely not an excuse to let down our guard or take greater risks with SCP objects, or cross-test them, or whatever you might have in mind. Primary containment is still our best chance at survival. Otherwise, there would be no reason to make the cover-up so extensive. We can only suspend God's disbelief so many times before the universe just says no. And considering what we've had to deal with in these past few decades, we may have passed that point already.
True. Ain't
Former
wrong.
Administrator Dr. William Freeds.
Description: SCP-2000 is a subterranean Foundation installation originally constructed sometime in the last years for the purpose of reconstructing civilization in the event that a K-Class end-of-the-world scenario could not be averted in time to prevent humanity's extinction or near extinction. Since its inception, SCP-2000 has been activated at least twice. Foundation records regarding SCP-2000's construction and history prior to this assumed first use have been lost. Whether this information blackout is the result of accident or design is impossible to determine. The mission-critical portion of this installation begins 75 meters below ground level and extends to a 100-meter depth. Although the scope of engineering required to recreate SCP-2000 in its entirety is impossible to execute while maintaining secrecy, all subsystems of SCP-2000 have been successfully reproduced in laboratory setting.
Okay. So in laboratory settings, they can reproduce everything that's going on, but they can't reproduce everything of the facility in its scope covertly, essentially.
Installation and all procedures involved in its upkeep are mundane in nature. See Document 2000 SSEX for information regarding esoteric Foundation technologies necessary for SCP-2000's function. Primary power for the facility is a liquid fluoride thorium reactor, or LFTR, rated for 1 gigawatt total output, with a reactor life of 70 years at maximum capacity. A geothermal generator has also been installed to take advantage of the region's volcanic activity. This generator is capable of powering the facility in standby mode indefinitely. SCP-2000 also contains water treatment facilities, air purification and recycling systems, hydroponic production wings, and housing necessary to permanently sustain up to 10,000 personnel. To fulfill its primary mission, SCP-2000 includes 500,000 bright Zarshian hominid replicators, or BZHRs. At peak capacity, SCP-2000 is capable of producing 100,000 viable, non-anomalous humans per day, with a warm.
That's pretty insane. Being able to create 100,000 people a day. And you'd be able to repopulate the Earth pretty quick.
Of producing 100,000 viable, non-anomalous humans per day, with a.
And again, it goes back to the question of, like, this technology sounds extremely advanced for where we're at. So, like, did we create this? Did we have help from some other kind of alien species or anomalies to create this? Did we get this technology from other worlds, you know, that were traveled by the SCP Foundation, etc.? Because, like, it seems pretty crazy and advanced, and it's not necessarily known how long, I guess, or at least publicly, is not necessarily known how long this facility's been there for, but they know it's been implemented. Its use has been implemented at least twice before. So they know that there's been at least 2 events that have happened where this facility's been used to reset humanity, I guess. So At least we know it works, you know what I mean? But that's pretty crazy. Pumping out 100,000 people a day.
A warm-up period of 5 days, utilizing an underground Romanian transit pipe to collect raw material from various hot springs and underground magma flows in the area, and a computer memory bank housing data on all known human alleles. This system is capable of recreating any lost human genome or generating as many new and unique genomes as necessary to repopulate human civilization.
See, and that to me is kind of the crazy thing. That kind of data storage, I would think would be astronomical, you know? Like, it's impressive enough, the ability to make 100,000 people a day, you know, new bodies, etc. And from what I understand, it's able to like make them, or at least grow them to any age very quickly, whether, you know, they have to be like infants at first and then grow up, or if they can make adult bodies. But like, that's impressive enough as it is, but then also just the genome storage, and I guess, you know, memory personality storage, like that kind of storage, the needs for that would be astronomical. I almost feel like this place would almost kind of have to be run by some kind of AI, right? You know, you would think, for how advanced it is and what it's capable of, and for it deciphering and I guess potentially creating new genomes and whatever else that would have to happen, while also making non-anomalous, you know, humans, which I would assume that also means this facility probably could have the capability of making anomalous humans. You know, maybe there's some switches that you would have to hit to like do that, I guess, but I don't know.
Researcher note:
Use of the BZHR system is currently suspended outside of maintenance testing and emergency situations. CYA-009 is still go. Possible hostile incursion is still being investigated, and this database is proving particularly difficult to debug. We're still seeing a distribution of congenital and genetic defects far above baseline numbers. Right now, I can only guarantee about 60 to 75 viability and new specimens. See Addendum 2000-1. Dr. Christopher Ziarton, MD. Biotech Research and Development.
You can't bring them back.
Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired without extending the 5-day incubation period. In addition to construction features, the BZHR also has the ability to implant memories by administration of Class G hallucinogenics and developmental hypnotherapy. Life histories, neural archetype scans, and genomes of many Foundation personnel, including all personnel of Level 4-2000 clearance and above, are maintained to ensure that SCP-2000 may be activated and Procedure Lazarus-01 can be initiated by as few as one surviving human. After the implementation of the Ganymede protocol, indicating a
Again, I feel like if it's down to where like literally only one human's left on the planet and they can still make this work, I feel like there's got to be some kind of like AI process behind this though too, right? I guess the process could be just automated to that point, but I don't know.
surviving human. After the implementation of the Ganymede protocol, indicating a failure of the Foundation to prevent a K-class scenario, SCP-2000 security systems will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to initiate procedure CYA-009. If, after 20 years, SCP-2000 remains inactive, security will be relaxed further, allowing any non-anomalous human being to access the facility and initiate the procedure. Once activated, SCP-2000's internal monitoring systems will attempt to locate all personnel of Level 4-2000 clearance and assess their condition. Mission-critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent neural archetype scan on file and awakened prior to the initialization of any other systems.
Did you catch that?
After these personnel are revived, security locks will resume normal function. For a complete list of contingency options available, Level 5-2000 personnel may access Document 2000 CYA-09.
So then I wonder, like, you know, I don't know, the some of the questions that we brought up from this again, because it seems like in this universe, the biblical God exists with the Gate Guardian, and seemingly that the Gate Guardian is guarding, Eden, and Cain and Abel are real. That probably means, Adam and Eve are real, et cetera, et cetera. So that means at some level, I guess the biblical God would, is real in the SCP universe. And so, like, you got to wonder at that point if humanity's been wiped out and been replicated by this device. Are we, do these bodies have souls? You know what I mean? And that kind of essence, and what kind of implications would that have with, death and afterlife and that kind of stuff, if at all. Don't have Foundation personnel back. They just give the person amnestics and take over. Gotcha. That's interesting. I didn't know that after 20 years, if nobody turns it on, the security will allow literally anybody to turn it on. I have many theories on who built this, but I don't want to spoil anything. Don't want them getting to you in the comments. I get you.
Note that the receipt of the all-clear code as defined by document 2000 XKAC-1.9 may be waived only if all other Foundation facilities have been rendered inoperative. Otherwise, security and MTF elements revived under procedure CYA-009 will be dispatched to all remaining Foundation facilities to confirm their function and the integrity of local reality. Procedure Lazarus-01 will begin when an authorized Level 5-2000 Foundation employee inputs the desired resume date into SCP-2000's BZHR control unit.
And that also makes me wonder, the SCP video we watched about, what was the title of it? Was it the one where What Comes After? About the 05 council member being resurrected, and the experience that they had of essentially being trapped in their body, and the senses essentially being enhanced over the period of time, with them feeling everything, like every little insect feeding on them, etc., etc. Is everyone that's being brought back through this, are they experiencing that? You know what I mean? Like, that would be pretty crazy. Obviously their memories and stuff, they get wiped because they're given amnestics, but like, yeah, is that something they experience? Is it even like really resurrection though? Because I guess they're kind of like being created from scratch, and these genomes are being created from scratch, and these memory engrams are implanted like through hypnosis and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't remember dying from the amnestics and all that kind of stuff too, like a copy of a person before dying, right? So I don't know, but that would be interesting, because like, that would be a super traumatic experience, right? I guess being, yeah, more like clones, right? I'm just trying to think of like, if that were, because I guess the theory of that guy being resurrected is like, he's like stuck in some kind of like quantum entanglement and has to experience the time that takes place from when he died back to when he's being resurrected, so like he has to experience all that as his body's getting like recoalesced or whatever. But this is different because these are like bodies that are being manufactured. But I don't know. Again, then it kind of starts going into questions of spirituality, and like, if these clones' bodies are being manufactured, are somehow their souls being like re-implanted into the bodies? Are there any at all? Does that matter? Kind of a thing, whatever. If that, and again, that goes back to, I guess, my questions like I was asking earlier about, it seems like the biblical God is real in the SCP universe, with the Gate Guardian and potentially, I guess, guarding the door to Eden, and Cain and Abel being real, etc., etc. So what are the implications of that, if at all? You know what I mean? As far as that goes, is that why maybe the Gate Guardian like is denying anyone who finds them entry and potentially killing them, because maybe, you know, humanity is already dead and these creatures that are coming toward them don't have any kind of soul, so like they're not allowed entry into Eden because it doesn't necessarily see them as humans. You know, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
What's the desired resume date into SCP-2000's actual reality? Procedure Lazarus-01 will begin when an authorized Level 5-2000 Foundation employee inputs the desired resume date into SCP-2000's BZHR control unit. Available units will then begin production of prominent political and cultural leaders of the time period using descriptions and genetic information on file, as well as replication of a global populace consistent with the chosen time period. Most of SCP-2000's floor space is dedicated to storage of building materials, construction equipment, factory machinery, agricultural equipment, and computer database storage. In addition to infrastructure concerns, a wide cultural base with copies of thousands of famous works of art, music, literature, and a full backup of the World Wide Web are kept on site in the event that other repositories are destroyed.
See, again, like, the data storage, it's got to be astronomical. Like, I don't know, man. Like, literally all of human knowledge is being stored is what they're talking about. You know? Human DNA having been mapped and fully mapped, and those genomes being stored, and then, you know, the sum knowledge of the internet and the World Wide Web and all of those things being stored. And that, you know, also requires like the actual movies and games and music and books and stories and news and all that kind of stuff. Like, what kind of servers do these guys have going, and fucking who's on the IT staff, like, manning that shit? You know what I'm saying?
HMCL note. Discover this note in previous iteration records at Lazarus-01 conclusion.
Researcher note. If we ever have to do this again, do not set the resume date further back than 20 years before the event. Not only can we piggyback on a lot of undestroyed structures if we do, but it will make continuity a lot easier to resume. Years is too many. We are straining personnel such as it is without having to rebuild to chronological specifications just to save time on the population and agricultural demands. Besides, how much of the 20th to 21st centuries do we really want to rewrite? And
Right.
how many times? Isn't one great war hard enough to keep track of? Dr. Henrietta Eisenhower, historian.
My tenure as SCP-2000's HMCL will honor this request. Currently pursuing official documentation update to account for this change. 2 world wars is plenty. We do not need to hazard a third. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL Supervisor.
You've already failed.
The first replacement humans housed off-site must necessarily be informed of SCP-2000's existence and function as they are being created. This strategy allows newly constructed humans to assist in reconstruction and recolonization efforts directly, and skill sets.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being like the first handful of people being made, and then some systems telling you, hey, wake up, sleepyhead. Good morning. By the way, humanity's been wiped out, and you're in charge of helping to repopulate everything, man. Congratulations. Congratulations. As these people are being woken up, I'm going to need you to inform them of what's going on. You know, give them some clothes, make them a little bit of some breakfast, some scrambled eggs and some bacon, you know, maybe a little milk and some coffee. Let them know what's happening, you know, et cetera, and keep people going. You know, it's like, bro, I just woke up and you're informing me that the world's been destroyed and I'm responsible for like helping to bring all this shit back together. God damn.
That's appropriate to reconstruction have been pre-selected for increased prevalence in the first 5 million individuals produced. As global population increases, the process of diaspora and reconstruction will accelerate geometrically, allowing economic and agricultural infrastructure to recover as quickly as possible. While it is feasible that some replacement humans will not survive the initial renovation period, such individuals can be recreated indefinitely until all major population centers and Foundation facilities have been completed. Foundation administrative assets during this period will focus on the falsification of dendrochronological, astronomical, and radiometric dating records necessary to maintain the appearance of historical continuity. Please see Document 2000 Retcon V233 for details. In the event that significant portions of natural habitat are also destroyed prior to the project's completion, refer to Document 2000-1 Tier V3 for approved rapid regrowth methods. It is estimated that the world population, manufacturing capability, agricultural production, and culture can be reset to 2000 CE levels 25 to 50 years after the procedure is implemented. At the conclusion of Procedure Lazarus 01, amnestic agent ENUI-5 will be released en masse, causing all reconstructed humans to forget their affiliation with Foundation assets. History will then resume from the chosen date. Each procedure will necessarily alter the course of human events due to the enormous complexity of human social interaction.
Wouldn't that also kind of be a situation where you're dooming history to repeat itself? Like, wouldn't it almost be wise to an extent of being like letting people understand and remember the fact that humanity was wiped out, and the only reason why you're back is because of this machine that has literally been made to regrow humanity and bring us back. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you want to at least have some of that knowledge of like, yeah, you know, don't do that again, or, you know, we're going to be wiped out again, and we're going to have to restart again, and who knows if, you know, we'll actually be able to restart again, you know what I mean? Because like I said, you need at least one person to get this going. And I mean, you know, there's what, 7-8 billion people on the planet right now, but I mean, who knows what any number of things could happen to wipe people out. And this place is situated in one part of the world. You know, who says that the United States could be completely wiped out, and then, you know, the site could be just completely unattainable. You know what I mean? It almost seems like you should have multiples of these sites around the planet, right? That are just having, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of a situation. You know what I mean? I don't know. You have to remember the Foundation and remember the machine, which breaks containment. Take note over the Foundation. I mean, I get that, but you wouldn't think with this kind of technology, I would think they'd be able to be pretty selective with the memories that they could wipe and not wipe, and create and not create. You know what I mean? Like, wipe out the memories of anything to do with the SCP Foundation, but keep intact the memories of the historical event that happened that wiped humanity out. You know, because I mean, I guess if it was like an actual SCP event, you know, maybe you could have to rewrite history somewhat to an extent. But it sounds like what they're saying here is like there was a World War III event and humanity wiped itself out the last time this facility had to be activated. So I don't know. I just feel like it, you know, history is doomed to repeat itself if you don't pay attention to it, kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Further research into predictive historical modeling based on observations from prior completions of the Procedure Lazarus 01 is ongoing. HMCL note: no further proposals for behavioral or cultural modification will be accepted at this time. Previous attempts to ameliorate violent and sociopathic tendencies in humanity as a whole have already been implemented and deemed successful. Experimentation using second iteration subjects indicates that further modification would undermine tenacity to such a degree that technological and social progress would be noticeably inhibited.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, now you're starting to fuck with the human genome in itself, and that could have consequences you guys aren't even aware of.
See experiment log for further information. Dr. Charles Gears, HMCL Supervisor. Document 2000 SSEX. The following information establishes basic operational parameters of technology developed specifically for the SCP-2000 project. Although this technology may appear to be anomalous, it is based entirely on verifiable scientific principles currently in use by the Foundation to effect containment. The invention of the Scranton Reality Anchor, or SRA, appears to predate the first activation of SCP-2000, and is credited to Dr. Robert Scranton in 1889. The main body and much of the circuitry of the SRA are constructed of a corrosion-resistant beryllium-bronze alloy, inspired by artifacts recovered, effectively eliminating the appearance of virtual particle and antiparticle pairs required for Type Green reality-bending phenomena to manifest. Due to the expense involved in producing the beryllium-bronze alloy required for the SRA's construction, Foundation-wide implementation of the device has been limited to units capable of an area of effect less than 2 cubic meters.
Stop!
Researcher note:
the mechanism of the SRA's function and the source of its inspiration must be kept secret from all possible reality-bending entities for reasons which I hope are obvious. Only qualified Level 6-2000 maintenance technicians have been cleared to access this documentation. If any member of SCP-2000 staff reveals to you that they are a Level 6-2000 maintenance technician, please report them to O5 Command so they can be reassigned and submitted to amnestic therapy immediately. This is not a punishment, it is a legitimate safety concern. If these devices are ever compromised, so too is our lifeboat. Dr. Lowell Henry Piedmont, Esoteric Containment.
The EXACS is a device designed to stabilize the flow of causality across a given field of effect. EXACS use high-power electromagnetic radiation in the radio band coupled with a tachyon field emitter to create a permeable event boundary, allowing organic and electrical systems to pass through unaffected while maintaining a static causal environment. In other words, temporal anomalies which might normally prevent SCP-2000 from being constructed will have no effect, so long as at least one EXACS remains in operation. There are no plans to implement Foundation-wide use of EXACS devices. Researcher note:
Temporal sinks can be useful for a lot of things. Containing SCP objects for which you need 1 second to last 300,000 years is a good example.
Yikes.
Holding a point of reference constant during temporal repair missions so that you can meaningfully record your progress and undo serious mistakes is another.
So are they saying essentially that this facility could actually, like, create a time dilation field around itself so where it could isolate itself from time to protect itself? Is that what I'm getting here? That if there is some kind of like world-altering event or whatever, it could essentially create a time bubble around it to pull itself out of time and then allow whatever to happen till time gets to a point where like things where it's at are stable, and then it like will come out of this time bubble and start, you know, doing what it's supposed to do to repopulate humanity. Is that what I'm getting from this here?
But natural causal relationships are flexible in a way the human mind is not equipped to deal with meaningfully, and creating more than a small handful of isolated static causalities will do more to damage temporal integrity than secure it. EXACS will not be implemented Foundation-wide. Yes, we have tried it during a past iteration. No,
Gotcha.
Further inquiries into the results of that attempt will not be accepted. Dr. Thaddeus Zayank, Temporal Anomalies.
Stop!
The use of a pseudo-Riemannian manifold allows SCP-2000's floor plan to extend into negative depths, providing 10 square kilometers of floor space. Original documentation on this system's construction prior to previous SCP-2000 activations has been lost. While this phenomenon has traditionally been indicative of spatial anomalies, it is the determination of Drs. Rosalind Axel and Tristan Bailey that the manifold entrance is consistent with an advanced implementation of modern physics. This negative space is maintained via non-gravitational singularity.
Now we're getting into the back rooms. This is what I'm talking about. I think what they're describing here is literally what I'm talking about. They're trying to achieve in the back rooms with, you know, creating a larger space inside of a smaller space.
Tristan Bailey that the manifold entrance is consistent with an advanced implementation of modern physics. This negative space is maintained via non-gravitational singularity generated through focused particle emission across the manifold's desired entrance. In the event of the singularity's failure, the installation will remain intact in isolation and will not suffer structural collapse. Recreation of the manifold is estimated to take less than 10 hours if Protocol Dead Euclid 101 is enacted immediately after failure. The isolated portion of SCP-2000 will remain operable and inhabitable for up to 36 hours after the manifold fails, and is recoverable indefinitely. Addendum 2000-1. During containment breach of SCP on Point 2, SCP-2000 experienced failure of several SRA and EXACS components which coincided with activation of the BZHR units on site. For 25 days following this incident, BZHR units produced over 10 million humanoid entities with internal biology inconsistent with modern humans. Differences include...
So, it sounds like someone entered the facility to force it to create some other kind of humanoid species.
On Point 2, SCP-2000 experienced failure of several SRA and EXACS components which coincided with activation of the BZHR units on site.
Yeah, it sounded like someone had deactivated the like fields or whatever that are supposed to protect it in order to gain entry to this, and then used it to create or recreate another species of some sort. I wonder if Bigfoot is coming back. Bigfoot found the facility and they're taking over. Bigfoot's trying to become the prime species again. They're about to start another war with humanity. Bigfoot says, fuck the fairies.
5 days following this incident, BZHR units produced over 10 million humanoid entities with internal biology inconsistent with modern humans. Differences include an additional heart chamber, perfect polydactyl of the hands and feet, increased endocranial volume and height, and...
Or this is tying into 40K and the Emperor came in here and he's starting to make Astartes. This is how Astartes are first made. Second heart chamber, they're taller, they're bigger, they're stronger. Everything ties together, man, I'm telling you.
and the presence of an abdominal organ of unknown purpose which emits and responds to radio frequencies in the 2.4 to 3.6 GHz range. These humanoids were neither dosed with Class G hallucinogenics during replication nor submitted to developmental hypnotherapy. All remained unconscious until expiration 5 weeks later. Classification of SCP-2000-1 for these entities is currently under review. Whether this event is the direct result of transtemporal interaction between SCP and SCP-2000, sabotage, information leak, or non-anomalous equipment malfunction is as yet unknown.
I wonder if it was the Chaos faction, I can't remember their exact name, that infiltrated this to make something.
Diagnostic checks and structural repair are proceeding as scheduled, nominally, within acceptable risk. SCP-2000 is expected to resume normal function as of January 2008, 2013, 2020.
Just put it down.
Addendum 2000-2. While making repairs to SRA units in Sector 3382 on Point 2, technician reported the discovery of human remains in an advanced state of decay. Analysis of clothing fragments discovered within the remains indicates the remains are 450 to 700 years old. Valid Foundation security credentials for Dr. Alto Clef were discovered nearby, although a genetic match could not be established. The following note was recovered from a hermetically sealed plastic document sleeve. Why did we have to build this thing? When did we do it?
Yeah.
How long have we been doing it?
Yep.
Do we even know? Subsequent interrogation.
Yeah, and I mean, that just brings the question of how many times has this happened to humanity already? How many times has humanity faced some kind of world-ending event and has been reset?
Has verified that Dr. Clef has no knowledge of this event and is ignorant as to the purpose of the message.
Well, I wonder why you fucking keep fucking wiping everyone's goddamn memory.
You are not normal. This is normal.
Okay. Brother, calm down. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching,
There
and
we
a
go.
huge thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. Special shout out to level 4 patrons, Lesby Friends.
Well, there we go. That was SCP 2000 Deus Ex Machina. Commonwealth Foundation made SCP by Dr. Maxwell, SCP Readings. So, and I mean, it's definitely something that has a lot more question. It leaves a lot more questions than what questions are answered. The thing for me is like the technology seems so extremely advanced that, you know, if we as humans created this, then obviously our technology has gone, like, we've regressed in technology far back from when we were able to create this. Because I mean, you're talking about a facility that is able to store the like total sum of human knowledge, is able to store multiple DNA genomes, and is able to essentially create different random, you know, genomes to seat what to fit what humanity's needs might be. It can alter types of humans, you know. It can make what would be considered, you know, non-normal humans, I guess, as it said. You know, it's able to create humans or humanoid beings with, you know, different organs and multiple organs and, you know, whatever other things. The fact that it's able to create, you know, 100,000 people a day, implant memories and things like that kind of technology, and the storage for that kind of technology would be insane. So, and the fact that it's done in a facility that is not that vast, yeah. So I mean, if humanity, you know, created a facility, that means our technology's regressed considerably. And again, the biggest question has to be, you know, how many times has humanity faced a world-ending event and been wiped out, and this facility has been used to reset humanity and essentially the planet. You know, it's not just humanity, but it also has capability of recreating, seemingly recreating, you know, plant, animal, insect life, etc., that is needed to sustain ecosystems, to sustain us. So, you know, and they said at the end there, you know, they found a body that has been essentially decaying for over 470 years with, you know, the name of one of the other officers in charge, and of course they have no memory of anything. So clearly it's happened at least once or twice before. I mean, they said, I think the facility has been activated at least twice before that they know of, but probably been more than that, and who knows how long it's been. But it's also kind of you know, a facility like that, obviously in the right hands, has extremely good use. Obviously, you know, the idea of humanity having a backup plan should we get absolutely wiped out. But it also seems potentially to have the indications that it can be used to create all kinds of crazy shit if needed to be. You know, it sounds like some people somehow, you know, they learned where the facility was, they broke into the facility, and they were able to change and alter, you know, various things to create some kind of, you know, mutant humans that had extra hearts, organs, and things like that. So I mean, who's to say that, you know, it was to get into the hands of the wrong person, or, you know, people in the O5 Council wanted to, they could start creating, you know, some kind of super soldiers and do all kinds of stuff. Literally, we could have, you know, Warhammer 40k where they start making Astartes and Primarchs and, you know, all kinds of crazy humans that could take over the world and do whatever, and, you know, potentially start a new great war that could wipe out humanity. It seems, again, like that's happened at least once in what they were saying. So But very interesting and very intriguing video. I actually would still like to kind of learn more about it. I would like to learn more about its origins. You know, I mean, obviously, I have no idea if that information's out there, but I'd love to learn more about its origins, who created it, you know, how long has it been there, how many times it's been used, etc., etc. So, but yeah, as always, links will be down below in the description to the original video here without my commentary and reaction, and to Dr. Maxwell's channel. If you enjoyed this video of his, click on the link, give it a like, and check out his channel, see if he's got any content there that you enjoy, and give him a sub if you do. We're doing this reaction live for my YouTube members, as you can see. Would love to have you guys come in here and join the discussions with us. If you would like to, there's a join button down below. You can check out the YouTube membership benefits, see if any of them have any kind of interest to you. There's a Discord that's open to everyone, but there's a sub channel in there specifically for YouTube members, and you know, you can get early access up to a week for a lot of the videos that I put out, etc., etc. So if any of us have any interest in, and if you would like to take your support to the next level and help me out monetarily, I would greatly appreciate it. But regardless, I really just you know, appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy days to watch the videos, check them out, and all that good stuff. So appreciate you. Hope you're having a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.